Notice your knees. If your knees are up very high, sit on a block or a pillow or something to lift your sit bones up. That will allow you to come into an easy sitting pose where your spine can be neutral. So we want to anchor down into our sit bones and then check in again. Nice neutral spine. So we are tall through our spine. Ears line up over shoulders, line up over hips. Rest your hands either palms down or palms up. Palms up invites more energy, palms down invites more calm. And let's just start to tune into our breath. So breathing in and out through the nose. And just let that be slow and a little bit deeper and longer, but don't really be forceful with the breath. And just tuning into how you're feeling in this moment. And letting that breath guide you to become a little more settled, a little more relaxed. And with each exhale, see if you can find more ease in your body. Let the breath be slow and long, and especially that exhale. Really lengthen out that exhale. So breathe in, and then pause, and then exhale long and slow. And that's a really relaxing way to breathe, and it signals our nervous system to settle into that calmer state of being. Relaxing the shoulders, the face, the jaw. Relaxing the neck. And settling right into this moment. Bringing your arms to the side, reaching up as you inhale, find length. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And we'll do that twice more. Inhale, find length. Exhale to heart center. And once more. Lace your fingers, press the palms out and reach up. Find length through your torso. Reach up through the hands, lengthen up from your sit bones, up through the shoulders, up through the arms. Find ease in the neck. And then if it feels okay, we'll find a little side stretch here. Stay really anchored in your sit bones or your pelvis. And just find a lengthening side stretch. No force. And then come back into center. Sweep the arms behind, lacing the fingers, shoulder blades in, and knuckles pressing down so that we have an expansion across the chest. Anchor down into those sit bones. Then bringing your hands to your shoulders, begin to circle the shoulders, inhaling up, exhaling back. As we come back, squeeze the shoulder blades in and down. And then reverse that. Good. Coming to hands and knees, we'll go right into our cat and cow next. So we want to align our hands right under our shoulders. Our knees are under our hips. Think about the tricep or the back of the arms scooping back. That externally rotates our shoulders, stabilizes the shoulder and the upper back. Rounding the cat, tucking the tailbone and the crown of the head down. Press strong through the arms. Hold here for a few breaths. Tugging the tailbone, lengthening the spine in this deep flexion. And on the next inhale, lengthen into cow or an extended spine. Sit bones kind of lifting, gaze is a little bit forward. Make sure your shoulders stay away from your ears and you're not dropping the head back so that you lose length in the back of your neck. Exhale and round, tucking the tailbone under. Inhale and extend. Keep length in the back of the neck. We have a tendency to sometimes drop and crunch back, so we want to keep that long. Round, exhale. Extend, inhale. One more. And sitting back to your heels, extended child, resting to your heels as little or as deeply as feels right to you, resting the forehead either to the floor or you could stack your fists and rest to the fists. Find what works right for you. And I just want to remind you that this is one of those poses that you can come to anytime you feel like you need to take a rest break or your back feels like it needs a little stretch or length. And we're going to come to our first downward dog. So leaning forward into the hands, tucking the toes, lifting the sit bones up. We're going to keep our heels lifted and our knees bent as we find length in our spine, pushing away from our hands. So instead of being rounded here, we want to really lengthen the spine and reach up through your sit bones. And then from here, start pedaling one heel toward the floor and then the other. Waking up the body a little bit more, finding length in that whole back body. Your heels don't need to touch the floor, just finding a sensation of stretch, alternating that. And then lifting those heels, bend the knees, and see if you can reach those sit bones even higher. Press and lengthen from your hands up through your sit bones. The head is just in line with the arms, kind of the ears between the arms a little bit. From here, see if you can extend the legs a little bit or drop the heels a little bit without losing that length in your spine. A few breaths here. Lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, step or walk forward to come to an extended spine. So here again, we have a tendency to round over. And we may have to come all the way up to our thighs to find that really long, straight spine so that we're not rounding our spine, but if anything, we have a little baby extension or back bend. So you may be on your thighs, you may be on your shins. You may be able to come to the floor without losing that length, but we want to feel like our hinge is here and our back is long. Your knees can bend very deeply if necessary to find that length in your spine. Shoulders are wide and away from the ears. And you're feeling a sense of stretch up through the back body. As we fold forward, we want to lengthen the chest forward, bend the knees, let the belly come to our thighs, let the head drape towards the floor. Shoulders draw away from the ears. Pressing into the balls and heels of your feet, in your thighs firming back. Nodding yes as we relax any tension away from our neck. And then nodding no. Halfway lift, hands to our thighs, back flat like a table. Think of your inner thighs as sort of firming back and your sit bones widening out. Lengthen the crown of your head more forward, finding more length in your spine. Sit back as you lift your chest, zipping up through your core. Reaching your hands back, turn your thumbs out. And then reach out to the side, expansion from hand to hand. Turn the palms up and lift those arms up to whatever level feels right to you. So that may be up in a V, it may not be up in parallel. Extend up to an upward salute. The tailbone is tucked. The ribs are knitting back. We are long in our spine. Bring that right hand to your thigh and that left hand reaches high as that left leg anchors down. To the opposite side. And then back to center. This time a little back bend, so our pelvis drives forward, our chest lifts up, we gaze a little bit upward, but again, we're going to keep the neck long. Place the hands behind, draw your shoulder blades in, press the knuckles down. Bringing those hands to your hips, we're going to step back into our first warrior one pose. That front knee is right in line with that front foot, and we're pushing down and out through our feet as if we were trying to stretch that mat out. Pelvis and chest centered, and then reaching those arms up, firm the shoulder blades to your back. Make sure the pinky side of that back foot is pressing into the floor. Anchoring through the heels and balls of our feet. And then bringing those hands back to your waist. Feel the strength in your legs and see if you can lift up a little bit extra through your torso, creating a little more lift and a little more leg through the sides and ribs, and then reach back up. Maybe we lift our gaze just a tad, inviting just a baby back bend to our spine, while really keeping that firming down and out through our feet. Open to warrior two, left hand forward, right hand back. We want to make sure that this front knee stays in line with that front foot. It has a tendency to want to collapse in. So being aware of that. Reach through the arms. If it feels okay, gaze over that front hand. And you're still pushing down and out through those legs. Reaching up, peaceful warrior, lengthen upward, open outward, warrior two, exhale. Reach up, peaceful warrior, inhale. Open out, warrior two, exhale. Once more. We're going to reach a little bit forward and then reverse warrior. Right hand to our thigh, left hand reaching high. We can also take that left hand behind. And reach forward and back to warrior two. Push down and out through those legs. Lift and lengthen up through that torso. Reaching a little bit forward, bring that forearm to your thigh for side angle. That right arm reaching up over our ear. And we want to think a nice straight line from that back foot all the way up through our hip, through our torso, through our arm. And we're going to sweep this arm up and just open back a little bit, and then sweep that arm back over the ear. That feels okay. That just gives us that little extra rotation here. So we're really strong in our legs, we're long through our torso, and then we invite just a little rotation. Reverse warrior. Take a few breaths here. Reaching to warrior two. And then we're going to pivot so that our feet are parallel or even a baby bit pigeon-toed. Find enough width to feel like you're really strong and active, but not so much that you feel like you are putting any stress on your knees. So this could be smaller or bigger depending on how that feels to you. Again, we're pushing down and out through our legs. We're going to hinge from our hips, nice straight back, and the hands might come to the floor, they might come to blocks, they might come to a stool or a chair, they may not reach the floor. We want to think lengthening from our sit bone through the top of our head, keeping the shoulders wide, and keep anchoring and firming down and out through those legs so we're really strong and active in our legs. Taking a few breaths here. And then if it feels okay, we can fold forward here, lowering, but staying long in our
spine, staying strong in our legs. Taking a few breaths here. Coming back to an extended spine, reaching forward through the crown of the head. And again, your hands might be on a stool or a chair or blocks. They might not reach the floor. And then hands to your hips, pushing down and out. We hinge right out of those hip joints. Come all the way up. We're going right into warrior on the other side. So pivot that opposite foot forward. Pivot that back foot in a little bit. Bring your hands to your hips. Finding that strength in the lower body and then reaching up to our warrior one. Long through our torso, strong through our legs. Front knee right in line with that front foot, and that back foot really firming back. Sense of the inner thighs strong and rolling outward. Open warrior two, right hand forward, left hand back, looking over that front hand. Still anchoring through the feet, not letting that knee collapse inward. Peaceful warrior, reach up, inhale. Warrior two, open out, exhale. Peaceful warrior, reach up, inhale. Warrior two, open out, exhale. Once more, inhale and exhale. Reach a little bit forward and then reverse your warrior. Still pushing down and back through that back foot, still pushing down and forward through that front foot. Finding a nice stretch to that right side. Make sure that we're just allowing the neck to be in line with our spine and we're not dropping or putting too much tension on that neck. Warrior two. To side angle, reach forward, forearm to your thigh, back arm reaching up and over. Really anchoring through that back foot as we find length through the whole side, reaching up and over the ear. Breathing. Reaching that left arm up, open up a little bit. Re-anchor through those feet and then reach over the ear again. So just introducing that little extra bit of rotation in our midsection. Reverse warrior to warrior two. Gazing over that front hand if that feels okay for you. Bring your hands down to your hips and we're going to come into that wide stance again. So pivot those feet and they're either parallel lines pushing down or out and out, or you can pigeon toe in a tiny bit if that feels okay for you. So we're strong and we're pressing out and we can feel that engagement right from our glutes down through our thighs. From our hips with a long spine, we hinge forward, hands to the floor or blocks or a stool or a chair. Firming down and out through the feet, lengthening the sit bones back and the crown of the head forward. You can stay here or you can fold forward. Keep the strong active legs, keep the arches lifting up. The head is relaxed, but we're still lengthening our spine. Your stance could be bigger or smaller depending on how this feels on your body. Extend the spine, reaching the crown of the head forward. Press down and out through the feet, hands to your hips, hinging from the hips, come all the way up. Beautiful. Walk your heels in and turn your toes out. And we're going to drop down into a goddess squat. So we want to make sure that the knees are lining up over our feet. We want to make sure that our arches are staying lifted and not collapsing. So we're anchoring into the heels and the balls of our feet, the big toe side and the pinky toe side. Beautiful. If that doesn't feel okay, you can always come to your hands here. And your stance, again, could be bigger or smaller. So listen to what feels right to you. Just Nice drawing outward through our legs, but anchoring and really engaging in that nice wide stance. Walk your hands to your thighs, tuck your tailbone under and roll all the way up. Pressing down through the feet, reaching the arms up, make a great big expansive reach with the arms. Bring your hands to your hips. Bend the knees and either step, walk, or jump feet together. We're going to come into our first balance pose. So we're going to shift our weight into that left side. And we're either going to hold our thigh or our shin. We can always hold on to the wall or a chair with one hand and hold with one hand. One thing of really lengthening and firming this leg into your hands. So it's pushing down toward the floor, but the hands are keeping it stable. Good. Grow tall up through the crown of your head. And then drawing that leg to the side and the arm to the opposite side. And again, feel free to hold on. And instead of the shin, you can always hold underneath as well. So working with what feels right to you. And breathing. And now we're going to take that leg, cross it over, place the foot down. Press your hips to the left as you reach that left arm up, finding length through the whole left side. And this can always be a choice rather than eagle pose once we get into an eagle pose. So this might feel more stable to you. This is an option. Come back to standing neutral. And great, into the heels and balls of your feet. Lift and lengthen up through your thighs. Bringing that left leg up, holding either the thigh or the shin. You can always hold on for balance with one hand to something sturdy. Zip up through your thigh, zip up through your torso, keep the shoulders wide. Imagine a little string from the top of your head lifting you up a little bit higher. Drawing that leg out to the side. Few more breaths right here. And then cross that leg over, pressing your hips to the right arm reaches up, and the whole right side gets a stretch. If we do a lot of sitting, our hip flexors can be very tight, and this is a really nice stretch for those, as well for our hips, our whole side, right side. And come back to center, mountain pose. So feet are right under our hips. Drawing up through our thighs. Drawing up through our pelvic floor. Let the tailbone tuck down a little bit and draw the ribs back a little bit. So everything is engaged and supporting us in our standing posture. We're going to come into a tree pose. And for a tree pose, we can have the foot stay on the floor and the sole of our foot just against sort of the ankle. We can have that foot come to our lower calf, below our knee. And let's all try that for a little bit. Sometimes I feel like it's more of a challenge to hold it in that low position. I feel a little more action in that hip and in that inner thigh. Note you can always lower that foot, or maybe just a finger or two holding on to something for balance. It really helps to find a focal point, something that you can focus on will help you steady and balance. And then also focus on the breath. And that breath will help you to settle and help you to calm. If you lose your balance, just come back to it and smile and say, it's not a big deal. Let's do that again. Some days balance comes easy and some days balance doesn't come at all. Okay, we're going to pedal that out now. So lifting one heel and then the other. Coming to tree on the opposite side, and again, that might be the sole of our foot just coming to the ankle. Or we could come to that inner calf below the knee. We're lifting and lengthening up. We have our focal point, something that we can gaze upon to help us steady our balance. And then also our breath, our calming breath helps us with settling and rooting down into that foot. And if you lose your balance, just smile, say no reason to stress, it's just tree pose. And then let's pedal that out. We're going to come back into tree pose with the option of coming to that upper thigh this time. And coming back to tree pose. So all of those options, the foot can stay on the floor, we can come to the lower leg, or we can come to the upper leg. Just don't go against the knee joint itself. The foot and the leg are firming into each other. They're stabilizing each other. Rooting down through the four corners of that supporting foot. So feeling the ball of the foot, feeling the heel of the foot. And that big toe helps with our balance as well. Use your breath to help settle and calm. And remember, no stress here. Maybe tree works some days, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we just put a finger on the wall just to give us that little extra something for balance. Tree pose is a great strengthener for our legs, feet, ankles, hips. It's a wonderful way to calm our nervous system. It's one of those poses that helps us to settle and calm and focus. And let's pedal that out. And as you feel ready, coming to the other side, all those three options again. Good. Firming the foot and the thigh into each other or wherever you're at. Just make sure you're not on the knee joint itself. Rooting down through that supporting foot. And not being too rigid, but being able to sort of sway a little bit if you need to find balance. So in addition to strengthening, we're really getting a nice opening stretch through our hip as well. And lower that down, pedal that out. Good. Anchor through both feet, palms press out and up. And take a few breaths here. Good. We're going to fold forward. So we're going to soften our knees, hinge from our hip, lengthen our spine, and then lay our belly to our thighs as we drape the head toward the floor, shoulders away from ears. No stress or tension in the neck. Stepping back to your hands and knees. I'm going to come back to our cat and cow here. Exhale as you round. Coming into cat, inhale. Remember that we're keeping length in our spine, and even though we can lift our gaze, we don't want to compress our neck. We're going to keep the back of the neck long. Once more. Coming to your neutral spine, keeping your abdominals lifted. Reach your right leg straight back, parallel to the floor. And then reach your left hand forward, turning your thumb up. Lengthen the heel back and the hand forward.
If it feels okay, we can either stay here, we can come down and rest if we need to, or we can tuck elbow and knee in, exhale, reach straight out, inhale. We'll do that 3 times. Tuck under, exhale, reach out long and straight, inhale. Once more, tuck, exhale, reach out, inhale, stay here. We're gonna bring that arm out to the side, and to the best of your ability, bring your leg out to the side. It's so much harder than it looks. See if you can smile, see if you can breathe. And back to center, reach, and lower. A few cat and cows between sides, round, exhale, extend, inhale, round, exhale, extend, inhale. Come to your neutral spine, keeping the abdominals lifted, left leg straight back, right arm straight forward. We can stay here, we can always come down and rest, or we can do those 3 tucks. Elbow, knee under, exhale, reach back out, inhale, tuck, exhale, extend, inhale, one more time, exhale, and inhale, hold here, reach and lengthen, lift that torso up a little bit, arm to the side, leg to the side to the best of your ability. Breathe, feel the challenge, but keep a smile on your face if possible. Center, reach, inhale, lower, exhale, sit back to your heels, extended child. As we breathe here, take a breath in and see if you can expand the upper back and back ribs with your breath. Give your back a stretch, and then as you exhale, soften that all. Inhale, shifting forward, lean into your hands, hug your elbows and lower all the way down to the floor. Extending your arms forward. We're going to lift opposite arm and leg as we inhale and lower as we exhale. Lift, inhale, lower, exhale. Alternating those, keeping your pelvis firm to the floor so that you're really anchoring that pelvis down. Reach, inhale, lower, exhale. Coming into Sphinx now, put your elbows under your shoulders. Tuck your chin a little bit so the back of your neck stays long. And again, we want the pelvis to anchor down. Tuck the tailbone a little bit and press the top of your feet to the floor. Have a sense of your chest lengthening forward and expanding open. So we have a nice extension in our spine. Really nice counter pose to all the forward focus that we do throughout the day. We can stay there or come into Cobra, bringing our thumbs right next to our ribs. Shoulders back away from our ears, elbows hug in, reach your chest forward, anchor your feet down. Press up as little or as much as feels right to you. Keep lengthening your spine, try not to drop the head back, but keep it lengthened. So if you're gazing up, the back of the neck is still staying long. We're not dropping the head back. Still firming into the tops of our feet. Still anchoring our pelvis to the floor if possible. Good. Rest down, resting the forehead to the floor if that feels okay.
And then using the hands to sort of pull back as you reach the chest forward, come back up to Cobra or come to your Sphinx. Lengthen and open the spine, firm down through the tops of your feet. Really lengthen your neck. Make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. Beautiful. Exhale, sit back to your heels. Extended child, taking a few breaths there. Come to hands and knees. We're going to transition to our backs, bringing our knees to our chest. Our pelvis is down and our legs are pressing into our hands. So that as we're getting that nice stretch through our back and that deep flexion through our hip, we're also decompressing at the same time. So really firming into the hands, pressing the shins away, or if you're holding your thighs, pressing your thighs away. Extend your right leg down, reaching from your hip down and out through the sole of that right foot, reaching the right arm up and over. So the whole right side lengthens from your hip down to your foot and from your hip up through your hand. And then bring that leg back in. Extend your left leg down, reach. That left arm comes over, lengthen from the hip down through the foot, from the hip up through the hand. Bring both legs in, and pressing into your hands, rocking side to side if that feels okay for you. And then come to settle in the center, hands on your knees, circling the knees in opposite directions. Nice mobility through our hips. And reverse that. Bringing our feet to the floor, and our legs are two parallel lines. Arms down at our side, shoulders away from our ears. We're going to come into our bridge, and we're going to roll up and down a few times. So first press the lower back to the floor, and then lift your tailbone. Peeling up, inhale, rolling down, exhale. Peeling up, inhale, rolling down, exhale. We'll do that a few more times. One last time. Stretching your body out long, both arms and both legs. You can let the back arch here. And then stretching the right side long, pause. Stretch the left leg side long and pause. Stretch the right side, left, and one more each side. Beautiful. Take those arms down to your side. Bring your feet to the floor. Lift and lower your pelvis and anchor your pelvis
to the floor. If your back is sensitive, we're going to come into our rest pose with the knees either draping in if our back is sensitive, or coming into corpse pose with those legs down. Arms to your side. And just beginning to tune into our breath. Coming into our Shavasana after our practice allows us some time for meditation, relaxation, and also some time for all of the work we did in our practice to settle into our body. So taking a few deep breaths in and out, letting go of any tension on your exhale, checking in to see if we need to make any adjustments, maybe to find a more neutral spine, to find more ease in your body. If you're feeling like there's some tension, you might just sort of rock a little side to side, or move or rock whichever limb or body part feels like it's holding on to tension. And then again, tuning into your breath, letting go. Breathing in, feeling that expansion as the breath enters the body. Breathing out, feeling that soft release as you exhale. And with each exhale, softening and releasing a little bit more deeply. Allowing your body to be heavy on the floor. Soften the face and relax the eyes. Soften the shoulders and the neck. Let the arms just sink heavily into the floor. Legs are heavy and relaxed. And allow the breath to just be without force at this point. As we're focusing on our breath and on just letting go, thoughts will come, and we're just going to allow those thoughts to come. We can't stop our brain, it's going to keep thinking. But what we can do is just sort of step back and observe the thoughts. Let them come and then let them go. Trying not to judge the thoughts, trying not to follow that train of thought.
we'll start to invite some movement into our body, maybe moving our arms and legs a little bit. Deepening the breath. And then rolling to our side for a few breaths. And of course, if you want to stay in Shavasana longer, feel free to stay. Take your time coming to sit. You can always sit up on your block, or you may feel like you're more open now and not needing to sit up on something. Take a few breaths here. Notice how you feel after your practice, physically, mentally, emotionally. Taking a breath in, reach up, inhale. And as we exhale, let's draw in a sense of gratitude for coming to practice, for taking care of ourselves with our yoga, with our meditation, taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally by taking this time out to recharge and care for ourselves. May you be safe, may you be well.